What the fuck? Hey Marissa, you Dorito-dusted cunt. Get the fuck up off my PC.
My name is Cleveland
I wanna play
Browns,
TF2.
and I am proud to
Get the fuck up off my PC before I knock your ass into next week. Stop watching these gay-ass early 2000s trolling videos.
Azuki, don't you realize that what we're watching here and what we're doing in our life is actually all irrelevant because this is a peek into the open window, the real human soul, the seat of the soul, in fact.
Team Fortress 2, one of Valve's most popular IPs by far. If everyone hasn't played it, I'm sure everyone's at least heard of it. This game by no means needs any introduction. Everybody has at least seen some form of this game, whether it be from Garry's mod animations, from SFMs, or, in the worst example, a meme from the community because these people cannot shut the fuck up and tell you how great this supposed game is. But let me tell you something. By no means am I Valve's spokesperson. By no means am I a spokesperson for the community, but I am a person who has played this game and has kept up with it for at least the past decade. I believe this game is a victim of both love and war shared with Valve and the community. The future for this game is not looking bright, and in this video I hope to go speak a little bit of my opinions, show some examples, and overall just kind of air out the fumes that have been building up in my sweaty ass room. You know the drill. YouTube chapters, here's the list that we're going to cover, alright? You can click around at your leisure, but I do hope that you stay to go watch the full video. And the first topic we'll be covering is a hot one. Competitive. Crack open a beer and listen to some retard yap. Alright, look, before a lot of you start to go fucking resume check me here it is for you, just so you understand where I'm coming from. I have 2K hours in Team Fortress 2, both official and unofficial. There are the medals to prove it. I have played Overwatch competitive, both 1 and 2. I've played Rainbow Six competitive, unfortunately, for 2,000 hours. Counter-Strike competitive, almost 2,000 hours, and that was all the way back in 2013. If I really want to go so far as to go pad out my resume, then I would say I've played competitive Apex and competitive Fortnite, okay? And then I could even go on with a couple other examples, but you know, you get the fucking point. I've played competitive. I want to go just say this real quick before we dive into this whole argument of competitive. I had to go put myself on the chart of the right or the left of the, oh, are you pro-casual? Are you pro-competitive? I would say I'm pro-casual tenfold, and this goes for pretty much any game. I would like to go onto a giant sphere talking about the damages, the irreversible damages that I think esports and overall just the ranking system has done to video games, but that would just take so much more time, and I want to keep it something small like TF2. So, you might be asking yourself, for this guy who spent a lot of time playing competitive, why is he so anti-competitive? Well, it's very simple. It's because competitive is full of fucking dickheads. It's full of the developers being retards who think that they know better than you for balancing reasons. They constantly do these ass fucking reworks that genuinely just make shit worse, or if it is better statistically, it'll just be worse than the people who preferred the previous rework. That's something I hate. I fucking hate it when something gets balanced towards competitive. When you have something like, let's say, Uncle Dane's video, trickle-down balancing, I feel like that idea only works in a perfect world, which unfortunately we are so far from. For those of you who didn't see the video, let me save you like 20 fucking minutes of time here. Trickle-down balancing is the idea that if you balance for competitive play and it is balanced in a competitive player's hands, that being the person to spend the most time and energy into your game, then going down the list of how skilled someone is, then it'll be balanced in a noob player's hand. Again, good idea on paper, but unfortunately TF2 alone in this case has some of the worst balancing I've genuinely seen in a game. Worse than Overwatch. Hot take. So let's talk about it. There's a lot of things that we can talk about for competitive that I don't even know where to start. But I'll tell you one thing I don't like, and that is blacklists and class limits. Who are you to go decide, oh, it's 2 scouts, 2 soldiers, 1 demo man, 1 medic, nothing else? And I already see a few of you standing up in the fucking crowd here, my like 5-person crowd, and you guys are like, well, actually, Snoy, you don't understand the last point of control point, you switch to a heavy, and then when you go to mid, then sometimes you do a sniper and get a sniper. Shut up. Okay, shut up. That happens sometimes, but that's not gonna be happening often. It is a lot of the time going to be that same exact format. And I fucking hate how a lot of TF tubers, or years ago, and it's kind of rare now, but years ago, all pushed towards this narrative that TF2 should be a competitive esport. Don't take this as me saying you guys are playing the wrong game. I mean, hey, play the game how you want. We have shit like custom servers, people made jailbreak, trade servers, and all this other shit that goes completely far out of the realm of what TF2 is. But competitive is most certainly not the base game. And that's fine. That's completely fine. It's cool if you guys stick to your corner, but understand that that's not TF2. Going back to it, I think the weapon ban list is fucking retarded. I don't like the idea that I can't use a weapon just because, oh, you know, it's broken, or it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, I get it. If Valve's not going to do it, then you got to do something to your own hands, and that's fine. Keep your fucking ban list. But this is the reason why I'm not going to play it. I play TF2 because I like how much it feels like a sandbox, and overall just me kind of like playing with my action figures here. Another thing I genuinely don't like is just, I think everyone who is in the competitive scene, and this goes as far away from TF2, I think all of them are cunts. Literally. I have been yelled so many times at fucking competitive where like, let me tell you a little bit of a snowy lore here. This was all the way back in, I think it was 2019, but I was sitting there playing Overwatch competitive. And when I was just, I can't remember what the fuck I was playing. I think it was Junkrat or some shit. And some guy on my team was like, hey, Azuki, can you please change to like a hit scan DPS? And, you know, me being the good teammate, I'm not gonna bitch. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. I changed the Reaper. And then you know what this fat piss baby bitch did? He immediately went onto the mic and then just to go say, oh, get this person, he's trolling, please, he's trolling. You don't get it, you're throwing. This isn't even the only time. I've had so many fucking people do it. It's not just Overwatch. It's not just Rainbow Six. It's not just Counter-Strike. It's not just TF2. It is every scene I've played in that has a competitive, you know, ranking system. There is always going to be these little, well, quite frankly, pussies who are just going to go bitch and moan at you having fun. And when it's all on the line to go win, okay, I get it, you know, teamwork is a very big thing here. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have to go completely, even when I cater to your whim, it's like you guys are going to come to me and start bitching. All right, I'm playing the game, and I think at the time I even had like gold medals, you know, not that that really fucking mattered, but I was still doing more than my other DPS, and I was still getting bitched at. And on top of that, this happens all the time. People will not let you play the shit they want you to play. They want to go towards the meta, and that's how it is. When you go for wins, you try your ass off. I can keep going on here, okay? Have I made my point? I just don't like competitive. Okay, and when it comes to TF2, unfortunately, or even fortunately, it's just not the fucking way TF2 is. TF2 is a completely giant casual-based system that is already made and has already stayed here since its release. Now, let's talk about balancing real quick. The problem with competitive and overall the topic is that there seems to be a right and a left, where the left, admittedly also full of pussies, is full of these pro-casual, oh, what? Oh, you want weapon limits? Oh, you want to turn off a random spread? And then you have the right side, which I just spoke about, being competitive. Competitive players are toxic, retarded, and on top of that, they force their ideology onto you. Same thing with the left. But I'm going to go be talking about the left real quick. The thing about pro-casual is that I don't understand what they want. They seem to 1 second be like, Pyro's broken, and, you know, he needs a fucking nerf. He's the easiest class. And then the next moment when they sit down, you know, they put on their fucking suit and tie, and then they sit there and be like, well, actually, Pyro is the worst class statistically just after Spy. And then they'll talk about all these inconsistent things about the burning or something with their fucking weapons, having the worst weapons in the game, something like that, right? And I don't get it. Another thing is that they'll be like, oh, you know, can't be competitive. Everything just has to be like kooky and random. But then the same people will be like, yeah, but no random crits though. And it's like, what? Random crits, in my humblest opinion, my headcanon, is the perfect example of what I mean by this is very, very much casual. If you want something as random and unpredictable and just this giant, you know, shitstorm of just a match, then yeah, random crits are exactly for you. It seems like even in the casual community, they can't come together and decide what's what. And another thing about balancing is something with Sniper. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Sniper isn't good, but let's not fucking deny it. Sniper does take some skill to use. Just aim. I'd like to see half of you even get 3 headshots in a row, or even more than 10 in a match. The thing is that, yes, there are some weapons that are really good. Girardi's a good example. Yeah, sure, we should have like a magazine for his sniper so he doesn't just hold angles so much. But I've seen people have this absolutely just irritating idea of like, oh, well, Sniper's really broken because he can quick scope, and he could get rid of 7 out of the 9 classes long range. And TF2 has a lot of these weird ideas that shut down shit. Like, people have an issue that Pyro can air blast an Uber, but that's really the only counterplay to an Uber when it's actually launched. I don't understand what the casual community wants. One minute they'll say, oh yeah, I don't want it to be competitive, but then the next moment they'll have these weird competitive ideologies. Or they want this more cohesive experience that still leans towards the competitive lane. And again, nothing wrong with that. Okay, hey, believe whatever the fuck you want. I'm just some gay anime LARPer. If you've been following me for the past few videos I made on a certain Half-Life mod, then you'll know that I brought up a video called Death of an Artstyle by Funk, who happens to go be sort of an old TF2er and now is something else. The main focus of that video is that he's noticed that TF2 has went under a aesthetic change over the years, and in a later added tweet, he now views the video differently and actually thinks that the video has caused damage to the community. I, for one, beg to differ, and I want to just say this right now. I think this video has brought up a really good point and came out around the time when something like Fortnite started doing their crossovers and getting really wacky with their art styles, and then now, several years later, we have a ton of games doing these crossover events with other pieces of media, regardless of them being games, and overall just sort of muddying the pool that is an already established aesthetic. Now, everyone's already spoken about this. This is something that it seems like every single content creator on TF2 has already spoken about. So allow me to go save some time and just make this short. When I say I agree entirely with Funk's video, I think this art style nowadays is kind of just gross, and a lot of the time before, it was just typically just, okay, you know, the lore here built up was that, okay, these are all like matches currently going on, little skirmishes between red and blue that could possibly happen theoretically in the universe. But now we just have a bunch of people that are just dressed like fucking morons, whacking each other with pans and shit, and honestly, I'm kind of at a loss for words. When did the fucking TF2 art style get this way? I guess we're hiring mythological beasts now. I don't understand why it needed to be this way. As a matter of fact, it just changed for no reason. I mean, I could name several examples, but I feel like all these screenshots I'm showing you here sort of paint the perfect picture. Why can't games just have this art style and then just sort of stick with it? It's like nowadays everything has to go be over the top or have some sort of weird silliness to it. And a lot of people may be sitting there like, oh, well, Snoy, you're forgetting though, art styles change over time. And yeah, I mean, I know that, you know, you don't need to tell me that. I'm a Halo fan, I've seen it. But the thing is that, do they need to? That's the question I pose. And if I were to go ask myself this question, because I'm the only one alone in my room, then I would say no, they really don't. As long as they, you know, it still looks good and it's still showing the style that it's trying to be, then yeah, I would say it's totally fine to go keep it the same. And I kind of wish TF2 ultimately did. We seem to have a lot of these, what do you call it? I don't want to go be that guy, but new gens, some might call them, who come in here and seem to go have this very weird hyperfixation towards the idea of people saying, oh, but it's a game, why are you taking it so seriously, man? Like, who cares if I want to go put a sandwich on the heavy's head? It's a video game, don't need to take it serious. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. So let me ask you this question. Let's assume I were to go to your favorite game, like, let's assume Red Dead Redemption 2, and then you could go play Barbie dress up with Arthur Morgan. And then I were to go add in, as a developer, I were to go add in a hat where, oh, you can give them a party hat, and then you can give them like tie-dye vests and do all this, because it's a game. You know, it's a game. It's not real. Fucking idiot. It's not real. Okay, what are you getting so mad about? What if I went into fucking, oh, I don't know, what's a big movie, fucking The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, one of those Western movies. What if all of a sudden I just decided to go just plop a fucking clown who follows the main character, and all he does is go, and then just like spray water of a fucking flower on his chest? Like, that would be ridiculous. That would be completely ridiculous and ill-fitting of the tone, art style, aesthetic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It would just be annoying. It would be, quite frankly, irritating. And that's exactly how I feel about TF2's art style nowadays. It's really hard to watch, and I'm kind of sick of people sort of saying that they're okay with this. I think things like the binoculars, I think, and you know, that sandwich thing I was talking about, the heavy, I think that's pretty annoying. I really just kind of wish games sort of went back to just having this like boots on the ground in universe type thing where like we can just kind of sit there and be like, okay, yeah, hey, these guys are mercenaries, by the way, you know, these guys like fucking kill people, you know, they aren't like kids shooting each other with Nerf guns, right? Like how, you know, like, is that so hard to believe? One last thing I want to go bring up on the topic of the art style is that this also doesn't just end at cosmetics. This is went straight towards the fucking maps as well. I know these 3 maps in particular, Whatville, has been talked about to death, but like the thing is that I really don't understand how this even got into the game. I don't even know why this still comes back every single time it's Christmas. It's had a huge line of people complain, so I don't know, it's been here for years, so yeah, alright, dude.
You are watching Azuki G Snoy.
Boy, I sure do love my job working at the Marissa Industries. And today, we're going to be doing a very important test. Let me show you. Hello, Marissa.
Kill yourself.
Okay. Alright, just gotta get my goggles on. Alright. I gotta be very careful not to drop this. What the? The Hitler particles are blasting straight into my eyes! Oh, my aching head.
Did someone say Hitler?
Marissa, is it bad?
You look like Beyonce. I'm just the nurse. I can only give you an ice pack.
You're not you when you're
Retarded. Snoy.
satisfied.
You are watching Azuki G Snoy.
I'm not going to bring up anything original on this topic. As a matter of the fact, I'm probably going to contribute to the fucking parroting and regurgitation problem that the TF2 community suffers from. But I still want to put it here just so everyone knows my stance on it. These current updates, in my opinion, are nothing short of the word nauseating. Every single update, which is Halloween, Scream Fortress, and then only as of I think it was like a year or 2 ago, they started doing summer updates, they have all just been there as more of just a binky to put inside of the mouths of the players that do this game. So something like oh, you know, here it is, just so everyone knows that I kinda care. Just a little bit, though. But don't expect too much. Don't you dare. And on top of that, the worst part is, it's just here for a nickel and dime type shit. All they do is put in these awful-ass cosmetics that also contribute to the art style change, and sometimes skins that'll also help in that manner. And on top of that, it's a dice roll and if the maps that they add are actually good. But more importantly, let's talk about the content of the updates themselves. Sometimes they'll actually do something interesting like a balance patch. For example, remember when they fixed the Rap Assassin? The ball would fucking explode on the last point of PL Badwater, and I think a few other maps that I can't really remember. And then they fixed that. I would say it's more of a fix than a balance change, but I mean, hey, you buffed it. Remember when they also added that fix, that community fix that changed the hue on the scouts' pants, and then immediately reverted it because it caused too many conflictions with cosmetics? Yeah, I think that also says a lot if I'm being real. And more importantly, here are some suggestions I want to go put out there in order to go flesh out some of these updates. Remember these holiday crates? The things that are just collecting dust in your inventory? How about during these specific points of the year, we can just straight up open them? Not only would that encourage money flow and also thus rarity in the market, something that the TF2 community fucking thrives off of, and you, Valve, how about we get some new things? Remember the noisemakers? Why is the gadget option only there just for you to go do something something with a gimmick or something annoying like the noisemakers? Can we get something new? On top of that, why is it that you guys feel the need to go add in community game modes into the main roster here? I'm not sure what that really does. If anything, I would say that it sort of takes away because it already adds to this problem that I'm going to be bringing up, that being content bloat. Now, what is content bloat, you might be asking? Well, TF2 is really the only game that suffers from this problem, and to be honest, it's a very unique one. Content bloat is basically the idea of you put too much shit into the game to where it sort of conflicts with certain things outside of it, if that makes sense. Allow me to elaborate. TF2 is already on a dying player base here. To be honest, we're kind of stretched thin. TF2 is over 100 maps, and I don't even know how many game modes, maybe like fucking 16, and I would believe only 6 of them are really played. If we were to go fix these issues real quick, what would I say? Well, number one, you know that other option at the bottom of the drop-down box with stuff like Hydro and fucking versus Saxon Hail, that kind of shit? To be honest, first of all, just move Hydro to attack and defend. I genuinely just please, I love Hydro. I fucking hate that it's put down there. Secondly, if you were to go just take all these game modes and not remove them from the game, you know, have it for your own little custom server thing, but don't really have it there in the drop down box. It doesn't really belong there. Number two, get rid of pastime. Nobody plays it. But on top of that, put payload race up. Just bump it up, please. And then just have the 5 be payload, control point, attack defense, Koth, CTF, and then payload race. And there you go, a synergized experience. On top of that too, please get rid of this competitive fucking drop down box. No one uses it. Also just checked, it's 190 maps, including the holiday ones. And on top of that, 16 game modes. Why? Why do we need this? Let's divert our attention from the content bloat and go straight back to what I mean by the current updates. Take a look at these taunts, will you?
Oh, perfect! This did not just happen. Diagnosis? You're dead!
The only one that kind of noticed the fact that these two taunts from the community and the Valve ones, the community ones tend to be a bit more, I don't know, smooth? Not that I'm necessarily complaining about that, but there's definitely a very clear difference in terms of quality to where it kind of just feels a little jarring to see both of them put together. Another one is that a lot of the community taunts keep using the same exact voice lines. And I get it, they're not going to get those voice actors in just for some random ass taunt that they didn't even make. But still, holy shit, do I get fucking tired of hearing the same cheers and jeers and scout screams from all these same taunts.
Oh, let's do this! Oh, it's on! We're doing this! Come on! We're doing this!
You can take me! Don't forget me! You can take me! Don't forget!
I'm not saying that we need to go get that heavy update that we were promised, but all I'm saying is, can we please just get fucking something? Can we please get like a weapon? Can we please get just for something, please? I'm dying here. Let's take a step back here and talk about the community for a moment. Now, I'm sure you've heard from a lot of the games, especially the games I've mentioned, where there seems to be this idea that the developers of video games don't really listen what the community wants. To be honest, you know, pick and choose your games, but in TF2, I would like to believe that it is a yes and a no. Biggest yes here is I think that they listened too much to the community. And allow me to go put forward this theory that I have. If you are a Kino enjoyer, then you would know this guy called Emperor Lemon. He's known for doing these sort of high effort video essays, very well done, blah blah blah, yep. Okay, anyway, you should check out the full video if you want the context here, but here's a snippet from the actual video.
Obviously, it's the show that influences the fandom. But what happens when the fandom starts to influence the show? Well, you get Pickle Rick. The fandom started calling Rick and Morty the smartest show on television, so the show became about the smartest man in the universe. The fandom obsessed over the nihilist themes, so Rick and Morty became a nihilist show.
Apply his math to TF2. A lot of people think of TF2 as this, funny hat game with friendlies and all these memes and all that. It's such a silly little game. It's been like that for years. And now you know what the TF2 developers have started to do? To take that idea of, everything's silly, wacky, random from the community and then now put it into their games. I struggle to come up with the idea of why this isn't the reason why TF2 is in this state today. I mean, seriously, think about it. Why do we have all these weird-ass cosmetics? Why do we have these taunts that are all just, the sit-down taunt, the moving taunt, a taunt that has to go say, look guys, I'm friendly, Why do you think that TF2 is just so far from its original creation in terms of art style? I, for one, genuinely do put the blame on the community for this. I do think that Valve is totally wrong in some extent for, of course, listening and going as hard as they have, but again, it's their job, if assuming, you're a good company, to go listen to your community, to go take feedback and to go kind of see what the community's interacting with and what they like and they don't. In this case, I feel like a lot of people in TF2 genuinely do not think about TF2 other than, is this weapon good? Wow, would you look at this cool map, this cool custom server, wacky mods, You see what I mean? It wouldn't be an Azuki G Snoy video if it wasn't me for the 18th time in a fucking row bitching and moaning about memes. Now, I've made it pretty obvious now, I don't really like memes, and it doesn't even matter the fucking time frame. But more importantly today. Nowadays, it seems like TF2 in terms of content creation, and I don't necessarily mean videos talking about balance or talking about fucking updates, but more so on the, comedic side, if you will. I fear there's something even more wrong here. Back in ye olden days, you had people like Etaloris or some shit. I'll try to go get the image on screen. You had Kiddio706, all these classic ass tubers doing SFMs, Gmod animations, and all this cute stuff with TF2 characters, Counter-Strike. Back then, people would even do shit with like Halo and whatnot. It was a giant sphere. And it came off as sort of like a passion project. Just hey, what if I just make a funny skit and just put it out to the internet? And, people who are searching up TF2, maybe they might enjoy it. Just some kind of wholesome and sweet. Nowadays, however, I fear that it has changed the tide in terms of the motivation, if you will. Nowadays, whenever I see a TF2 meme or someone just putting it in a popular format or just whatever, it doesn't come off like look at this cute idea I made, whoa. It turns into how can I make this about myself? And by myself, I mean, how can I just shove in TF2 without there being an excuse? I'm so tired of people constantly sitting here and telling me how great this game is. How many videos have you seen talking about Valve titles all being these masterpieces amongst gaming? Look, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that TF2 isn't a good game or Half-Life 2 or whatever, but there's most certainly a problem with the community when they can't even get off the fucking dick that they're writing. Let me tell you a story. A little Snoy lore, if you will. Holy shit, 2 stories in one video? You guys are eating good. I was in a car with a good old pal of mine, and we got into a little bit of a heated scuffle, if you will. I was bringing up the idea of, can the community overall tarnish the original product of a game or piece of media? I was arguing, yeah, you can, totally, 1,000,000%, and TF2 is one of those examples. And he was saying, why can't you just separate the art from the community, just the product by itself? And okay, yeah, that's like a fair point. You can. That's what I did with TF2. Why do you think I have 2,000 hours? The idea here is the fact that it most certainly does cause a problem when it comes to approaching it. I mean, let's think about it. Remember League of Legends? League of Legends is considered to be the most toxic fan base on the earth, despite it not having voice chat, but everyone knows it is toxic. People seem to go think that Roblox is full of kids, right? But I know quite a few people who are fucking adults who still play that fucking game. People like to go think of all these pieces of media that have this one giant generalization. And that's fine. Generalizations aren't a bad thing. As a matter of fact, they can kind of prove a lot of points if you do it correctly. In TF2's sense, I do genuinely think a lot of people are meat writing it. Same with the entirety of the Valve community. My video is totally not going to do anything about this. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I got quite a few hate comments, if not dislikes. But, I mean, it's a problem. I feel like this should be discussed. I'm kind of tired of pretending that it doesn't exist. Alright, we are now approaching our big reveal, our final idea. But first, before I do so, I got some final things to go complain about, bitch and moan, and then after that I can start really spitting some heat on you. But bear with me. Alright, miscellaneous complaints, let's get this shit over with and then I can finally wrap this puppy up. Let's see here. Please add this casual or competitive little medal you get as an actual sort of badge next to the mercenary badge. That'd be pretty cool. Please add a dedicated badge slot. I know a lot of people have been fighting for this recently, but this is an idea I'm sure many people, myself included, already got when we first started playing TF2. Let's see here. Okay, why in the fuck do community crates actually give you shit like festivizers, taunt unusual fires, you know, that kind of shit? Why can't we get that in the regular crates? Please fucking fix that. Why is crafting so goddamn useless in this game? And it seems like the only time people do use crafting, it's just for refined. Can we please get a more in-depth system, or at least a system that kind of benefits us a little bit more? Payday 2 had this system where you could change the wear and certain parts of the guns that were actually colored. I wish they would apply the system to the current fucking skins that we have, especially the ones that are, you know, war paints instead of skins. Alright, pushing past the obvious sale that you could see, please decrease all the fucking hats and all that stuff that isn't keys or whatever down by at least 50% or 75% on the fucking Manco store. I've never heard of anybody doing anything with the Manco store unless it was just to go purchase a key or to go make their account premium. Alright, this is the last complaint, and honestly it probably doesn't deserve to be put here and probably put back in the community little part, but there's a rumor that Zesty Jesus on YouTube is gonna put out a 3-hour video on Meet Your Match. Is that true?
Ice pick shoved in my anus.
It's not the video itself that I have a problem with. As a matter of fact, I'm a very big Zesty fan. I think he is one of the best YouTubers we've had in a long time for TF2. However, there's this rumor that supposedly along with the video, he's gonna go have a hashtag that's like bring back quick play or something. Now, this could all just be exactly that, a rumor. I really hope it is. But to be honest, I don't think we should really be trying to go do a hashtag that is most likely not going to work to the TF2 developers, the two that there are, and on top of that, have them roll back an update that was like 6 years ago. Not only do I think it's just straight up not going to work, but I'm a firm believer that, well, we're already in shit creek, we might as well try to go at least clean up the shit. You know what I mean? Let's just deal with the casual system and at least fix it. A lot of things that people want is like changing teams and, you know, certain other things, blah, 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 who the fuck cares? But the point is that we should at least just be fixing what we have. Alright, and before I do the last part, I think we need a change of scenery. What the? When the fuck did he get here? Alright.
You know, Azuki, you'd probably convince a lot more people on your side if you weren't such a vitriolic asswipe about your points. Have you considered taking it down a notch on and being more professional?
That may be true, Marissa. Even if I were to put on my best YouTube-friendly professional character, I don't think it would fully portray my emotions on the topic. Let alone, I'm not actually playing a character. These are real people, not actors type deal.
Perhaps, Azuki, you seem to dislike the Valve community a lot, and honestly, I think you're overreacting. There will always be bad apples in the bunch. Why make such a huge generalization?
You can spot an idiotic person when they have to point out something is a generalization. Huh? Not all Asians have small dicks. This is elementary level stuff. Sometimes, though, you start to wonder, is it just this season's harvest? Or is it the whole orchard that's bad? Holy fuck. I hate walking up those goddamn stairs. There it is, my glorious fucking shrine. Fuck. As I get my rest, go watch my fucking conclusion bit and then we'll come back. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm not saying the community is the worst thing since fucking loaf bread. I'm not sitting here saying that Valve needs to fucking burn to the ground. But what I am saying is that, honestly, I feel like the TF2 community has some sort of weird Stockholm syndrome, and I feel like they fetishize the value of TF2. If the last two hashtags of save and fix TF2 really haven't done anything, well, if we're not really getting really respected, then why should we keep playing this game? I love TF2 as much as the next person, and honestly, I don't expect this video to change anything. However, I do hope that some people nowadays start to kind of realize, wow, maybe it is a little fucked up that we're kind of getting tossed to the wayside. Yeah, sure, they fixed the bots, but how many years did it take for them to do it? So look, all I'm saying is what I want. If I had to go have one wish besides money in this world, I do wish that TF2 would get updates again. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to go be, you know, the fucking 7th comic, the hidden ending, but I would appreciate at least just something new besides these community-made updates that, if it wasn't obvious, I'm not a fucking fan of. And with that out of the way, I give but one wish. I hope TF2 comes back.